Allentown, Pennsylvania, welcome. You ready to go?
Ready, set,
go Allentown!
Woo! Allentown is Pennsylvania's third largest city with 120,000 residents, 52% of whom are Latino. With 26 languages spoken in the city, Allentown boasts a rich multicultural identity, but is also challenged with poverty. Faced with the decline of manufacturing and urban flight, graduating students were leaving Allentown to seek out better quality of life and job opportunities. There are 20 active neighborhood groups and hundreds of nonprofits and faith communities in Allentown, yet the city was siloed, with neighborhood pride and engagement scattered and weak. Some say Allentown was a stalled city, but Allentown is a comeback kid, battling our way through a gauntlet of obstacles to emerge as an All-America City finalist. The gauntlet of Allentown's challenges begins with blight. Median family income 32% below the national average. Owner occupancy rates of just 43%. Blighted properties and absentee landlords plague our neighborhoods. Here comes our first champion, Jane Heft, Vice President of City Center, wielding the shovel of development.
Spurred by the progressive neighborhood improvement zone legislation, Allentown is seeing more than $1 billion in new and planned development. The Allentown Community Redevelopment Corporation serves to formalize and strengthen the lines of communication between the city and participants in the housing and business community. City Center has led the charge in a comprehensive approach to development, enhancing the urban landscape with creative green spaces, public artwork, and innovative connections between new businesses and the neighborhoods.
Dark cloud of indictment. Allentown's former mayor was indicted in a 3-year pay-to-play investigation that plunged the city into a cloud of uncertainty and tainted the city's image in the midst of its renaissance. Everyone feared the loss of grant funding, corporate support, and new business development. Here's our next champion, Roger MacLean, City Council President, with the umbrella to weather the storm.
Despite the investigation, exciting developments occurred in Allentown. We launched the Collaborative Upside Allentown, a neighborhood partnership program aimed at carrying the momentum of redevelopment into surrounding neighborhoods. Communities met to address the early childhood development, a youth police academy, streetscapes, a retail mosaic competition, and infrastructure and facade improvements. The new PPL Center has been home to everything from bull riding, hip hop and country concerts, arena football, and ice hockey. We finally have a venue within the city that can host our high school graduation ceremonies.
Youth apathy. 69% on-time graduation rate. 100% free or reduced lunch across the school district. Lack of social and civic engagement. Gang activity and a perception of violence. Our next champions are Chief of Police Tony Alsleben and Allentown School District Director of Equity Dr. Lucretia Brown, who are equipped with the kicks of engagement.
The Allentown School District focuses on partnerships to enhance personalized learning and to foster family and community engagement in education. The Allentown School District welcomed 385 families from Puerto Rico after the recent disasters, and our newcomer academy for English as second language learners was expanded to a second site that serves an additional 100 elementary students. The Upside Allentown Committee provided approximately $90,000 in funding that has supported improved communication with our district families and the broader community.
I was born and raised in Allentown. As a kid, I participated in Allentown Police Department youth programs. After college, I returned to my hometown to serve as a police officer in my hometown again. Our Community Engagement 365 program is an innovative initiative that encourages non-emergency interaction between officers, youth, and adults. Officers engage the community with simple conversations and give community members a keepsake to commemorate the positive and constructive building blocks of mutual respect. We have a civilian police academy, a thriving police athletic league serving hundreds of inner city youth, Cop Meet Block, Coffee with a Cop events, as well as a youth advisory panel, all of which foster those lasting connections between our police officers and the community members we serve. Additionally, we have launched an app with anonymous tip and two-way communication, which is the first of its kind in our area.
Weak urban core and inequity. Graduating students as well as undereducated adults in Allentown were ill-prepared for employment in the downtown revitalization. A lack of trust between police and the community only increases the distance between the citizens and their government. Our next three champions come wielding the lasso of unity and the shield of equity to tackle the gauntlet.
I'm Adrian Shanker, Executive Director of Bradbury-Sullivan LGBT Community Center. Through a partnership with the City of Allentown, we collaborated with the Police Department to provide trainings to all officers so they could better serve LGBT residents and visitors with the respect we all deserve. At our center in downtown Allentown, we serve an average of 15 LGBT youth every day after school and offered 47 free LGBT arts programs for our community last year. Allentown has been on the leading edge for LGBT equality through laws requiring non-discrimination and equal benefits. In 2017, Allentown became the third city in Pennsylvania to ban the harmful practice of conversion therapy. We are proud to work alongside our city to make Allentown a welcoming place for all.
I'm Dr. Thomas Meyer, Vice President at Lehigh-Carbon Community College with a campus in downtown Allentown. With tuition costs among the lowest in the state, Lehigh-Carbon is an affordable option, offering a place in the heart of the city's urban corridor for educational and workforce development opportunities. The college and our foundation cultivate funding for scholarships and special programs to ensure that local residents have a chance at education and job placement. 58% of the students at the downtown center identify as Hispanic, and over the past 5 years, more than 15,000 individuals have been served by the Allentown Education and Training Center initiative.
Hola, mi nombre es Luis Bardales Jr. As a young Latino raised in Allentown and graduate of Lehigh-Carbon Community College, I made the choice to stay in the city I love. I proudly use my marketing and media production company, LBJ Media, to help build a better community, working alongside other young, innovative minds who seek to take Allentown to the next level.
Disengaged community. The recent climate on immigration policy isolates community groups from each other. Large segments of Allentown are underserved and need assistance to access appropriate resources. Here come our final champions, Councilwoman Cynthia Moda and Special Assistant to the Mayor Ishmael Arsaleh, and they are armed with the bow and arrow of collaboration.
Allentown is now home to the Office of Immigrant and Multicultural Affairs, and the newest city project is the establishment of a cultural community center, where 7 groups that are cultural have a space of their own, and additional groups are eager to join. The office identifies available services and connects individuals with community-based organizations.
The collaborative spirit of the Cultural Community Center has inspired others. More than 10 organizations came together to compile a community calendar of 15 events celebrating Black History Month, and a similar model is being developed to honor Hispanic Heritage Month and Women's History Month. With so much going on, we work hard to spread the word in immigrant communities about our city programs and initiatives. The free Newcomer's Guide to Allentown is available in 12 languages. We encourage all of you to come to our city and experience all that Allentown has to offer. Les recomiendo a todos ustedes que vengan a nuestra ciudad de Allentown y experimenten todo lo que nuestra ciudad tiene que ofrecerles.
Allentown is winning. The Urban Land Institute awarded Downtown Allentown the 2017-2018 Global Award for Excellence.
Allentown was named a top up-and-coming city by the Fortune magazine.
80% of seasonal city jobs are occupied by Allentown students.
In just 3 years, our unemployment rate dropped from 13% to 7%.
Part 1 crimes have steadily declined by 40% in the last 10 years.
Through engagement, cooperation, development, unity, and progressive legislation, our obstacles are conquered and our champions emerge victorious.
We are Allentown! Somos Allentown!
Thank you, Allentown.
Wow, what accolades and such positive progress. But the number that really caught me was the reduction in unemployment from 13 to 7%. Can you tell us exactly what happened and how is the community engaged in that occurring?
Oh, I can take a little bit. With the new legislation, I think we've already been on the rise back up, but with the new tax incentive, it really increased the employment downtown, especially, and the ripple effect. And I think the greatest thing is that over 60% of the new employment downtown, we increased, I think, 3,500. 60% of them are all Allentown residents.
Just to add to that, as part of that, we partnered with the City of Allentown and the Workforce Development Board to house the Workforce Development Board at our downtown campus to link incoming students and local residents who were unemployed or underemployed to job training initiatives, all free tuition in high priority occupations, CDL, truck driving, CNA, nursing assistant, and licensed practical nursing.
Very good. Angela.
Hi, Allentown. Quite a gauntlet there. I have about 10 questions, but I'll only ask one, which is, so thinking of one of the gauntlets, which is around disengaged community, it's, there was you did a great compilation and great presentation about the services that the city and the city is providing to community members. And I'm wondering a little bit more about how community members are active in this process in Allentown. So how are you harnessing community members' expertise and power and lived experience? How do community members actively contribute to that, making decisions about what services are happening, influencing some of the things that are happening in the city?
One of the ways that we're answering that question and addressing that issue in our city is by development of the multicultural groups, working with the faith-based community and the immigrant center. As we include them in the decision-making or the governance of the city, what we're finding out is they're becoming more empowered, they know where to go with resources, and they know the process of moving ahead and participating in the growth of Allentown.
Alberto. Oh, go ahead.
I'll just add on to that real quickly that we have a lot of active community groups, and most of the people in Allentown know where to go and know who to see and know what to say when they need something done. So it's very active. Thank you.
I was intrigued by the development of the app when you were talking about your police efforts. And so I just wanted to ask, what has been the utilization of that app so far? What are you finding out about how people are using that?
Well, it's actually been very popular. I just checked about 5 of them before I came in here. We get it on our cell phones, and all the shift commanders, division commanders get it. I think what it does, though, is it gives another avenue for the members of our community who want to report those crimes, who want to report problems in their community, but just aren't ready to take that next step to come and show up at our police station or show up at a meeting. So we get a lot of good information, and we've had a lot of good tips which actually solve some high-profile crimes, but also we're getting tips about quality of life issues, which are the basis for a lot of those other things if you don't address them immediately. So it's been very effective for us.
Good afternoon, Allentown.
Good afternoon.
One of the programs that I just loved, and you talked about it in your application. I'd like to hear more about the program about catch a young person doing something right, and how the youth have been so important, and how that's really caught on. And you've got a lot of good deeds. So could you tell me about how the program works and how the kids are honored, and if it's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we've done as we talk about city governance is to ensure that we include all facets of the community, specifically our youth. So in addition to Catch a Young Person Doing Something Right, we have the My Brother's Keeper initiative of the Lehigh Valley. We have a basketball program that's really a mentoring program, and it's called the Allentown Network Enrichment Network, in which we've engaged about 7,000 students. The My Brother's Keeper, we've engaged about 3,000 students. And lastly, the Catch a Young Person Doing Something Right. What we've done that is there's always these students that never get celebrated. We're always celebrating the A students, right? So we've always gone to the block watchers, to the community groups, and we've asked them to help us identify those students that have something beyond what they should normally be doing, and are doing something in school and the community as well, to engage them and include them as much as possible in our governance.
I have a question regarding your immigrant refugee efforts. I was impressed that you opened the cultural center, and I was just wondering whether it's anecdotal or quantitative, but what is showing that that center is working? What is happening that you're seeing that is telling us that the center is working and having an impact on the community?
Well, as our community grows, diversity-wise, one of the things that we've noticed over the years, I've been with the city for 12 years now, is most newcomers are alienated to walk into City Hall, to walk into a structure, and with unawareness and fear of laws, that if you get caught on federal properties, what we have found out by developing a separate entity outside of City Hall in the community, empowering these 7 cultural groups. We've got 7 of them. We have Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Dominican Republic, and the Indian American Association, and Kenya and Liberia. As we've included a place for them to build up their culture, focusing on that culture, we also have 7 volunteer lawyers that work with us in the Immigrant Center to empower them. When they have a lot of questions, we work with the embassies from the communities, and we also work with our congressional staff. We're not the federal government, so we don't do federal laws, but we also do not send people around in circles. We're a one-stop shop, and we work closely with our legislators to make sure that they're given proper information, because all too often, those with feet on the ground don't know the laws and misrepresent.
And I can tell you, I run special events for the city, so from a special event standpoint, all those immigrant groups coming together led to the Black History Month events all being compiled into one calendar. Everyone kind of communicates with each other more, shares information, and then they're attending each other's events. So you don't just see the isolation between the groups. They're really working together and kind of building more momentum to support new cultural groups.
I would also like to add that we use the Alliance Hall, the center, we use it every single day. And it's great to see diversity, and it's always full.
That's a good qualitative point. I also noticed on your HRC MEI that you received a score of 100, and that's impressive. And you talked about the young people in the community. What else is going on that helped you get that score of 100?
Well, Allentown has been on the leading edge of LGBT equality for many years. It was one of the earlier cities in our state to pass comprehensive non-discrimination protections for LGBT residents. It was the 4th city in Pennsylvania to pass equal partner benefits well before marriage equality arrived in Pennsylvania, and the 3rd city to ban conversion therapy in our state. Pennsylvania is a state without many LGBT protections, so earning a 100% on the Municipal Equality Index means that Allentown is really on the leading edge, much farther than our state is, and much farther than the federal government is. And in terms of what else has been done, the city appointed a liaison within the police department to serve as a relationship manager with the LGBT community. At many of our large LGBT community events, we talk to them beforehand and make sure that they're aware of our events, that they show up, and that we've also trained the police so that tensions that sometimes exist for sometimes good reason, sometimes not so good reasons, but that we're able to make sure that the officers that show up at our events understand our community, understand the cultural challenges and historic tensions between the LGBT community and police, so that we have positive relationships instead of negative ones.
Very good. Do we have any other questions? I had a few more. Do I have time for one more? One more, okay. So with the inclusive policing, I was really impressed with the wide variety of approaches that you're taking with different population groups. Can you talk a little bit more about the impacts? I mean, what is demonstrating the impacts of your diverse approaches?
Well, I think it was kind of funny last night, the guest speaker, our keynote speaker, talked about seeing people. And one of our initiatives is seeing people, maybe not in those exact terms, but we train our officers to engage the youth. We really target the youth. So we think that's where we're going to really establish our foothold of that trust and working to establish that respect. So we go into the uncomfortable areas where we get that third eye because we get the uniform on. So we go in there and we give them that basketball or the t-shirt, or we give them something else, and it just kind of maybe breaks the ice a little bit that we're not so bad, you know? And the other thing that we like to do is we get out of that uniform and engage them in a game of basketball or something in those terms. And when you engage them, they engage you. It's a truth. It really is. We find that those youth then will, when we have an issue, this happens a lot by our high schools, there's an incident, and we have a lot of witnesses that they didn't see anything. Now, a few of them will come forward and they saw something, and because they trust us now. There's respect. If not, we've had some use that app, where they may not feel comfortable coming to us yet, but they use that app. We don't know it for sure, but we kind of know the information where it came from, and that's where it kind of breaks through. And through all these other programs, the Cop Me Block and and the advisory council, it really has been making a lot of progress where we get that feedback then in those terms.
Very good. Allentown, you traveled a long way to get here, and we are grateful for you sharing your wisdom and your approaches on a wide variety of very challenging issues. So thank you.
Thank you for having us.